Hey guys, it's Tartan coming at you with another game of Total War Three Kingdoms. We're here with Rong again, and so we're just on our little corner of the map. We got 152k, so much money, but you know we're hurting our funds with our tribute, right? We're making more money than it looks like because we're paying off these big cities that we've recently bought. Now here, we just go for. I mean, the corruption isn't a problem in our place yet. We can just go to the Secretariat of the Commandery, I suppose. So we've got like level 8 cities. Our food's sort of okay. We could try to push up even further. But I think getting a level 8 city here would be better than getting a level 9 city there. Yeah, that'd be another slot. So we are playing whack-a-mole all of the time with public order things. But if we just build like a level 5 Confucian temple, which I don't even know if we can do, but you know, we can do that with the next slot, maybe. That's the thing, is that because of our multipliers, each one of these tax buildings is worth like 600 a turn. Although we may find it advantageous to get rid of it anyway. Alright, so this one might be stabilizing with the public school. That would be good. Alright, we need to try to get... Yeah, this reform, that's the next one we gotta target. Because that is going to let us build a couple more buildings for big economic bonuses. That's what it's all about. We don't fight here, all we do is build. It's like a game of Civ set in China, and I love it. I'm not really sure what's going on with the reserves there, but everywhere else is fine with it. Alright, so we get this reform, excellent. And the reforms happen immediately, so we're able to... Alright, so one of them gives us more population growth and generic income, and then one gives you culture income. We're gonna get the culture income, right? Well, one also doesn't cost you upkeep per turn. The Academy of Poetry. Yep, and that's already upgrading there also. And that'll help with public order some. Because the dream is that we'll be able to stop putting down these rebellions over and over again. And then maybe... if we buy, like, this farmland here, you know, it doesn't... with so many of our lands here by the coast, like, it doesn't feel super safe. But, hey, Gongsun-zan is a friend, you know. He's got a positive attitude about us. But I was thinking, so we need to find a spouse for Kongnong. And when you go through the family tree, we see Sun Ren's married to Saizong, so we can see like if anybody might be suitable. So like I guess these are like part of the royal family here. But this will be like a quicker way to see if there are any eligible bachelorettes out there. Gongsun-zan, quite a large family. You know, we've got our choice. All the land wants to know. Oh, so this trader ended up marrying Liu Bei. Good for her. But I'm thinking we can just marry Yuan Shao's daughter, right? And then we'll have like a hook narratively for us to later on have like our child take his lands, right? Well, let's see how Yuan Shao feels about this. How would you like to marry your daughter into our friendly faction? Wow, he's gonna want some money. Well, you know, maybe we'll give him some ancillaries, you know. How do you feel about devious attendants and eavesdroppers? And then we will, you know, pay a dowry. You know, he doesn't want to, but we're going to do it anyway. And then everybody's going to be, like, really impressed with us. And now, you know, he's going to be bound to our family by the ties of marriage. So we're going to feel more comfortable about him as a neighbor. Oh, yeah, we do. And it does indeed increase our standing. I was just, like, speaking theoretically. All right, good. And we're going to make our wife the heir. You know, that was all part of the arrangement. And that'll increase satisfaction, faction-wide. And we need to go ahead and give her an appropriate item that will help out the faction-wide thing now that... Well, you know, we'll get better faction-wide things soon enough. All right, we'll put Discourse of the States on, and then some nice trade influence. Good, good, good. And we're going to set the new Lady of Baha'i out, you know, to see what's going on. Take care of business, you know, do an education program. Now, I would like another green general in the pool, perhaps, and of course, we do have one person with poison volley. We lost our other one to unhappiness, but you know, what are you gonna do? Oh, we've got more spots for people now. That's good. This guy is green, but he's very old. This guy's already level 6. He considers himself a fighter, though. You know, I was hoping he would have some of these abilities. Oh, I know. We gotta go here. We gotta get somebody into this. So we'll just put this dude into the administrator job here. Because now we make a ton more food because of that admin position. Need a grand tutor as well. We don't want to just like recruit any old guy for it, though. We'll wait a couple of turns to find one. Alright, faction council. We will get an ancillary. We don't need to mess with that guy. We will agricultural focus. Is that still where we want it to be? Yeah, well, peasant industry and commerce together do make up like half of the income now. So I guess yeah, we can hold off on that. Add an ancillary. Oh, it changes the guy that your satisfaction roll is towards. But what I like about the map is that nothing says, like, Duchy of, you know? Like, there's nobody out there that seems like they're so strong that we gotta be worried about it, right? Alright. That was a long turn, but hey, we got a marriage. That's good. Got that taken care of. Got an heir. Those other ones don't really seem that advantageous, but you know, we'll work with it. Oh, so Zhang He is a sentinel, but he gets access to the good weapon sets. Right. You know, we could give him his sword back. His sword. The rule back. But I mean, I feel bad about that now. Like we need to take it right back. And like that army, we don't even need that army to be an army once we get things stabilized, which hopefully we'll be able to stabilize. I feel like one of our generals has an item that we can throw on her, because we didn't have an heir for the longest time, so those passives didn't matter, but I'm like, we don't need him to have that one. That one's really good. Alright, so this guy is the administrator of that place, so we need to have him. We're satisfied, and then population growth. Yes. Although this population is maxed. This one won't be once that finishes. Yeah, so this one, it's swinging all around, but so it's the reserves. You can't get that many reserves in the place. Well, if we can just stabilize public order, then we can get rid of that army, and that'll make us a lot of money a turn. But we're just gonna keep on keeping on. You know, everything is good here in Bahai. I kind of want to swap 2 of these to 2 Azure Dragons, just so we have like a real fighter in the crew. Because with the ranged units, you know, we already have some good stuff going on. You know, it's gonna really sting whenever he dies and we have to lose our brilliant strategist. But of course, Sima Yi's brilliant too. We just don't know if we can trust him. If we could just get him a little bit happier, then you know, it'd actually be a lot happier. And we can't. But it would be nice. Gongsu-san wants us to attack. We're not going to do that. Obviously, you know, like, our whole thing is based on being reasonable and, you know, the virtues of pacifism. And we're not just going to throw that away for a little bit of money. I like to think I have a little more sense than that. He wants non-aggression pact. I mean, of course. Well, actually, like, what if you sold me some land? We're gonna reject this just because I want to come back with a better offer to him pretty soon. So Zhao Zhao is actually, you know, like, he's the boogeyman, so I'm always worried about him, but he's not, like, doing super well here. It looks like Wu is doing well, and Dongmin, of course. We can't get him declared an enemy of the Han. Because if we just try to get Wu messed with, right? Because they're the only duchy. Yeah, they're the only duchy, so we need them declared an enemy of the Han. We need them kept in place so so we can keep on growing tall. You know, the forces of Shuhan and Wei and what would be Song, you know, like, they're all behaving, and we are making tons of money now. The old tribute is rolling off, but like, I need this city, but it's a level 10 city. Would he sell it to me? You know, he doesn't want to. That doesn't mean he wouldn't do it. So strange not having corruption worries. You know, just extreme public order worries. we have so much money, but, you know, what do we do with it? We can't... We could buy this province, theoretically, but we've got enough cash and food to where we could have just absorbed another very big place, right? But if we leave here now, the public order tanks. Zhang He has that, but he no longer is administering that, so we need to give him this fatigue rate one. Why not? And then we can wait this turn, because if we just... Alright, so he wants military access. That would be fine. I don't want to do it because I want to make it part of another deal later. Because anything they want to do, we can use with that in mind as a deal against them. But really, I think just Kong Rong's army should be able to ping-pong around and deal with all three of these problems. Haha! And we got the Duchy of Wu declared an enemy of the Han. Of course, they are looking pretty strong here. I mean, we helped. Speaking of, though, our favor's falling a little bit. Let's work on that some. Yeah, well, you know, from this vantage point, you can bounce around with the main faction list, but we're just gonna pop them here, you know. I guess we don't need that cav in the get-up at all, right? We've been paying him for a long time to determine that. There's Qinguang here, but we're not worried about him, because Yan Shao likes us, right? He's low on food. We're not gonna help him, though. Oh, that'll give us way more trade influence, whatever that is. Well, that means we need it. But we don't need old people in the faction. We need young people with vigor in their ideas, right? Unfortunately, all of these people that are definitely not spies are old, so we're just gonna chill on it. Okay. This person gives us -2 construction faction-wide? Really? Oh, yeah, I guess that's what clerks do. Maybe that's just at level 2, but anyway, what a wonderful bride he has found. That's gonna be real good, right? That's gonna get this in a single turn. That's awesome. Alright, so we want Ping Cheng, right? He's not going to want to sell it to us, but that doesn't mean we can't get it to work. Maybe it does, though. 51, that's a lot. Maybe we can get this one off of him. Well, this would be the one that we want more, right? Yeah, we'll be like, do you even want this? Oh, he doesn't want it very much. Alright, so he likes non-aggression more than military access. Good. We're going to give him several symbolic animals. And we'll have to pay a lot for it, but, you know, how much is a lot, you know? Really, we're just paying 20 grand for it, which we'll make in a few days. And this gives us even more food production. Excellent. And now we need this. He doesn't want to do it, but it's going to be easy enough, right? We'll just max out regular payments. Or rather, max out not the amount we could give him, but the amount that he'll care about, which will be 20 grand. Alright, there we go. And we'll just march down here. Well, really... Yeah, so what we need... Do we think Yuan Shao is going to attack us? No, not really. See, the Duchy of Wu has been declared an enemy of the Han. Do we want to make an enemy of them, though? With their incredibly cheap armies. I mean, I think what we want to do is just hang out, right? We just want to... We get 31 food from this place. Now, that is nice. Alright, so we need to make... We need to swap this guy out. We need to move him... Because he's the... He's the food guy? So we'll move him there, and then we'll be able to swap his administrator over here. She levels up, and then we're gonna go... I mean, like, this bottom one doesn't really matter, does it? Because she's not gonna be an administrator on account of how she's the heir. So yeah, we'll go across the top. She'll need... some of that eventually. Anyway, alright, so this guy, the administrator Rong, and then we will get him the public order here. Which does stabilize. But the military crackdown will go away, so it won't stabilize, but maybe it'll be close enough. Yeah, I think we leave this army in the heartland and move Kongnongs out here. Alright, but we can't move it right now. We have to deal with these rebellions first. Faction support is crumbling, but I think it'll turn up here in a bit. Satisfaction across the faction is high. Public order is most assuredly not permanently stabilizing. It is just the malcontents leaving for the rebellion. Now, we can't have a place down here that we can't defend, but that is so much food. Do we just build this up? I mean, maybe. It gets built in one turn because of population and like all of the other aspects. We can level it up in one turn. Well, you know, let's do it. Whatever. If you go to the top level, then you get huge boost of income from percentage of commerce. It's 100% more going to the Imperial City level. But of course, you get big public order penalties. You don't have any. That's in a different faction. It's just 22 more food for it. Keep on filling out the blue tree, I guess.
Yeah. 今日此战乃是大义之胜，对他们严加处罚，恐怕颇为不易。拿起武器，正义必胜，我等应设宴庆贺。为了天下苍生， 大义将临，莫敢不从。
You know, maybe
统一
maybe
时
we
机
would need something else in this army for the auto resolve, right?
大人，有话直说。
But what, precious? But what? Yeah, from other we build the cities up in 2 turns now, and all this stuff is just one turn now. It's crazy. But we're building up the school there, and I guess here we just burn straight to the Imperial City, right? You know, even though it's not percentage income from peasantry, it's just flat income from peasantry. So we need to build it here. This is where it'll make more of a difference. Because this is a commerce-based authorita. Yeah, we'll just need to move this army over here, I guess, for right now, and we'll evaluate what else we're gonna do later on.
大人有何贵干？参见大人。
We're still making so much money, but you know, how do we translate that into a benefit? Now, when we bought these, we traded a ton of money for an absolute ton of food, which of course, regret nothing, right? Like that's awesome because that is gonna let us level these places up even further for the prestige. Because I would love to become a great duke one day, a nice duke. Leader formerly known as king. Like, everyone is Yuan Shao's vassal up here. But the thing is, right, is Yuan Shao likes us and respects us. We're married into the family. And we have a strong army. That's the thing too. Like, we don't need to move down here and have Yuan Shao think that he wants to pop us, you know. If we leave an army in the north, it has to have at least some teeth. And now we move him. Here we move him to Japi because that is where his food production will pay off more. Usually I'm like, oh, he's 72. I'm like, this guy is like a faction leader. He is too, but he, unfortunately, he's very old now. Looks like his faction finally fell. This is an assassin, which means this is who we're grabbing. Alright, we need someone to be the Grand Tutor. Let's see her abilities first. Alright, so she has... You know, she wants to brawl, so she doesn't need to be in an administrator thing. And then he has advisors, so he'll give advantage here in lean with his boost to commerce, so that should be very good all around, right? Right. Destroyers of Treachery, Adushi. Defenders of the Empire. Unbreakable. Wow, I almost want to recruit him and then just leave him in one of these bricks until he kicks the bucket so I can keep the retinue. It'll be alright. Our trade influence is considerable. I don't know what that means, but, you know, we've got it. Rong declares war on the Duchy of Wu. So this guy needs food. But why don't we just ignore it? They're getting rolled up by my buddy Gongsun-san anyway.
朋友，别来无恙。 目标只有一个，我绝不动摇。
暂缓行动。
把谋士叫来。
Alright, we got our monopoly. Very proud we are of it, too. Public order here is actually stabilized, which is awesome. So good, so good. Man, some of these fools in our faction are getting old like us. Alright, so
别来无恙。
like, how about Donglai? He doesn't want to, but oh my goodness, he would make me pay. I mean, it's not that much, right? 100 grand. So rather than do all of that, he's like, you know what I would prefer to do is none of it. All right, so I think we just need like some nicer items to convince him there. He's not gonna want to sell it otherwise. The Duchy of Wu is moving up here. The Duchy of Wu has a negative attitude about us, and the Duchy of Wu is no man's friend. But at any time, we can spin up an army here very slowly. Do we just do it now to try to keep them on their side of the river? I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is. Like, why is... Oh, because this one doesn't have a tax building. You know, we could just solve the public order problem by cracking the tax building. It would be like 800 a turn. Because we could just build one of these buildings, right? And a garrison wouldn't be bad. A garrison would dissuade them from wanting to come in, right? But then we're trading income for a garrison, but that is going to stabilize public order, and then we would be able to go to the south and fight. Is there any other way we're going to stabilize public order? I mean, not really, right? Not really. Can't afford to drop the food. And the other income is more important to stack up, I think. So, yeah, we'll just... drop the tax building. And right after making this army up again, I think we're gonna get rid of them again. But no, we need to get the assassin into this army. Can assassins get spear guards? I don't think so. We need to get the assassin into this army anyway. I don't know how we're supposed to deal with Sunsa, but, you know, the answer can't be to let him come across the river like this. I mean, he's an enemy of the Han. We have a duty to the people to attack him. Yeah, because this place is making plenty of money. I mean, it does have the industry tie-in, but, you know, it's making plenty of money. Without having to have a tax building. So we can just drop a bunch of money here and here. But, you know, hey, freeing up the army to go deal with other problems, that'll be worth it. Cao Cao wants an eavesdropper? Is he trying to tell me something? Is he trying to? That's the thing, though, is like, with the money we've been giving Cao Cao, sure, he's weaker, relatively, but the North is so unified under Yuan Shao, who, you know, does like us, and hopefully isn't going to attack us. Sun Quan. Man, this army is rough. I think he went to the south to fight him and got tuned up. But if we make the forges, we can get, you know, that's right, we need to try to get good items too, right? Well, we've got our culture income, and that, you know, that's better than the peasantry income by a long shot, in my opinion. Because the public order is stabilized now. It won't be stable here, though, because our population is going to change again. Do we build a prestige building here? Might be advantageous to do so. But no, I say we, yeah, we can... I mean, if we just do a forge here, what'll it do? It'll give us a bunch of ancillaries. That's what we need, that's right. We need a bunch of ancillaries, because then we can use them in trades in order to peacefully take over the world. But I'm thinking, like, with these 4 cities, we might be able to get enough prestige to become, you know, a great duke. Hey, Selena. Say, how do you recruit faction leaders? The only way you can recruit a faction leader is to find them in the recruitment pool after their faction has been eliminated. So, like, I don't have any faction leaders in the pool right now, I don't think, but Liu Ji, who is, like, a guy over on this side of the world, he was in the faction pool a little bit ago. I would have gotten him, but he was, like, super old. He's, like, 72, and you can die of old age, so I didn't consider it advantageous to pick him up. But, yeah, you'll see a faction leader after a faction is destroyed in this pool here. And in my last run, I actually got Lu Bu, and I got Zheng Xiang in the faction pool, which was very nice. But yeah, if you check the faction pool every turn, some of these people will be spies, but some of them you'll see that their faction got eliminated, and then you know that you can trust them implicitly. And that is how we picked up Zheng He earlier. Well, his faction wasn't eliminated, but we saw that he'd been a member for a long time, so we figured he was just real unhappy. And, you know, we gave him a job. Now he's the Grand Director, the Director of Fishing and stuff. Yeah, these places, you know, we lost a ton of money dropping the peasantry building. But what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? It's not too bad. The culture building almost makes up for the difference in the money. And, you know, the huge public order swing is worth it, in my opinion. Oh, we can't even make the forge bigger. We also can't make those any bigger. Well, we'll just, we'll try to take that one later, right? The air levels up again. That's my girl. Now, if we send Sima Yi on this quest, then we can't deploy him into the army. That's fine, though. Oh, we can do Filial and Incorrupt with him. Awesome. Well, yeah, so that'll give us big satisfaction across the faction. Which, you know, wouldn't be enough to get him to the top, so it doesn't matter. Because he could be a spy. He's been with us for, like, a really long time. A slightly long time. He could be a spy, though. No, you need to demolish that because we're going to need to build the prestige building. Yeah. You know, it's all about the prestige. You gotta get that prestige. But you know, maybe we don't want to fight the Duchy of Wu. I think we need to. We know his big armies are over here. He might have a lot of them. He is, after all, the only duke on the whole map. We swap there because I'm scared of their cavalry. And I figured this would help, you know, a little bit more ranged. I'm very afraid of their cavalry. Also, we're giving him the rule back. Although it would go better on this guy, wouldn't it? Because melee evasion is what they lack, the vanguards. Alright, he is not administering anything. We don't have to have an army here, but if we don't have one, does that incentivize Yuan Shao to attack us? Well, we've got treaties, right? We've got treaties with them. And why don't we just give them some food, you know? Just be like, hey... here's some rice. After all, as long as we have a deal, he won't want to break it. And then we can be away from the north for a little while longer. Alright, ancillary item, yes. Bonus experience for units per season, yeah. And then there's some pirate raids, so we are going to do them to Wu, because of course we are. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that he's not going to know we did it to him, but wow, look at his lands. They are expansive. We've got to bloody his nose at least a little bit, or we're not going to be able to do anything against him when the time comes. But he's an enemy of the Han, you know. I didn't declare him one. I might have helped a little bit. Who can remember the past? Not me. Do we do prestige or do we do the workshops? Well, prestige is what we have to do, right? Yeah, we don't have a choice. It's all about the prestige. We've got to get it. We're gonna build to an imperial city there, because you know it's what we got to do.
老友来访，甚是欣慰。
I'm like, oh, the Duchy Wu isn't at war with hardly anybody. Well, then maybe we don't want to attack them, huh? Sure, they're an enemy of the Han and all. I still think having Kong Rong here in the south is better, though, to dissuade him. Because if I declare war on Wu, what's the worst that'll happen? They'll come in, roll over me, take all of my stuff, and I won't be able to do anything about it. But... oh. Yon Shao declared war with Shishi. Well, that is unfortunate.
"欢迎朋友。别来无恙啊！
Here... do we need military access? Nah, we can save that for a trade later. Now, attacking Wu here is out of personal character, but they're an enemy of the Han. They're also the most powerful faction in the world, so if we beat up on them, that'll help. Or it'll get us in way over our head, starting the chain of events that will lead to our downfall. I am not sure which. Oh, the population. I'm like, yeah, we gotta... Yeah, just gotta go ahead and get one here.
心怀中正，
心怀智略，
Of course, this guy's hardly gonna add to the strength of the army, but, you know, what are you gonna do? You know, we've been peacefully coexisting this whole time, but I just, you know, the Duchy of Wu, they're an enemy of the Han. I keep saying it like it matters. It does matter. You know, we were directed by the Emperor, who we serve, to attack them.
我不会与你为敌的。你自找的。
Although I really feel like Yuan Shao might try to bushwhack me when we do this, but maybe we should just wait, right? But if we wait, he just rolls up, consolidates the whole south. Maybe it's better to be patient, right? Yeah, why are we trying to throw away our whole run by running down here and starting a war? It does seem smart, right? But they are... They're the second strongest guy in the world. Liu Bei is the third, really? But if we do this, we can stop them from coming across the river, probably. I mean, it's, the Emperor told us to, right? I mean, what are you gonna do? We were directed by the Emperor. I don't know. I just don't know. If we do this, it's wrong. It's wrong to do this. We're going home. Even if the Emperor directed, Kong Rong wouldn't do it. His wife might. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't just go and declare war on somebody. If they declared war first, then he would just, yeah, you know, we gotta remember who we are. Gotta remember who we are. I was like, but it's undefended.
正在行进，来人，禀报一下近况。
But I think this army in the south, I think this is a better place for him to be hanging out, for sure. We'll have a bigger garrison at the capital. Yeah, we've got, yeah, tons of money rolling in. But of course... You know, negative 61 is such an obstacle to overcome. We basically can't do it peacefully. But we don't have to have it. Public order here at the Grand Temple City is relatively stable. And you know, we've got this place here, which was an awesome pickup. It gave us so much food. But I guess Liu Bei is like going down in the south, which is awesome. I love that for him. This is only a negative 48, so we could get it. And we're gonna do it right now. By giving him a whole bunch of money. See, the elegance here, too, is that by feeding them this money, our neighbors who like us, we are simultaneously giving them bigger war chests with which to work against our enemies, or, you know, our eventual enemies. Pay 30 grand there and 35, so like a total of 65,000 for this place, but, you know, we're getting there. And with a little bit of food on the table to sweeten the pot. Boom, baby. And we get this commandery of Donglai. And later we'll buy these places. And yeah, working out great. Now Kongrong needs to go up here probably to deal with public order problems. But we'll see. Public order, you know, our food is almost entirely out. But after we build these buildings... I'm thinking we need to get rid of the barracks. Drop the public order from the barracks in order to get this. So, like, we bought that, and that gives us a ton of prestige. We only need 30 more prestige in order to get it all the way up to the next level. So, we're, we can cancel that. We need to get this leveling up right away. Yeah, we need to demolish this. we do that so that we'll have room to build another prestige thing. And then afterwards, after we get to Duke, we might, we might well drop it down some levels. But this is what we need right now. Can we buy this place off of you? We absolutely can, and we will. Oh, we're already making regular payments, so we can't make other regular payments. Well, like, what would you say to 22,000 coins? Alright, perfect. And we get prestige out of this too, yes. We're gonna be so close to becoming Duke. Because this one's gonna, we're gonna be cutting it close with the food, but I think we'll be just there. With all of this coming in, we're making it work. And without getting embroiled in a war, even though it was attractive to me. Well, let's get to marching up here. Like, this land is not totally secure, but, like, if we lose it, what do we lose? An absolute ton of food. But now that we've got this secured, this also provides an absolute ton of food. Now, a problem with our lands, of course, is that it's not terribly easy to move from one side to the other. This doesn't have to be like a heartbreak or anything. Could just be how things are. We go here, that'll make it go -3 so we can farm the rebellion a little bit. Yeah, baby. And now we have become a duke. Of course, another trade agreement or two wouldn't go amiss. Hooray! Now we're a duke. Of course, becoming a king is further up, but we don't need to declare ourselves a king, right? I don't think so. Can we get a prime minister? Yeah. See, we can get a prime minister already. And that's basically all we need. Now, Sima Yi is still possibly a spy. We're so close to getting him to 100 satisfaction where it won't matter anymore, but we're not quite there. If we make this righteous hero the leader, though, or the prime minister, then we're going to get public order, satisfaction. We need to buy this guy to take his weapon. Buy that guy to give him work to do. Alright, so now we have a mission to become an emperor of China. Now, of course, we're a governor of China. We can't declare ourselves emperor. Shane, you say this is one of the few you haven't played. Would I recommend this one if I enjoyed the others? So the only Total War games that I have real experience in is the Warhammer games, where I have 1,700 hours or so across. I got this one a month and a half maybe ago, and I think I got like 160 hours in it. I mean, I've been playing the pants off of it. It's a lot of fun. The ability for like campaign level like shenanigans, the use of diplomacy and like marriage alliances, your heirs, your like that's like you don't get that in Warhammer. The battle, you know, there's no dragons in this, but it's really fun. I like it a lot. It took some getting used to. I had like a viewer in the channel who gave me a lot of very good advice that helped me out, but you know, it's I love it. If you played like any of the Dynasty Warriors games or Romance of the Three Kingdoms games, or if you know the stories of the Three Kingdoms, then I would say definitely get it. And if not, I would say maybe you'll like it anyway. Like it's a very cool setting with really interesting characters, but if you already like know who some of them are, then it's very fulfilling. You know, like if you'll figure out pretty quick that Lu Bu is a monster on the battlefield. But if you already know who he is, you know, just being able to get him into the faction, or like when you like, I love Guan Yu, who is a member of, you know, Liu Bei's inner circle, part of one of his sworn brothers. Like I'm a big fan of him, have been since I was a kid, and so like if I ever get to get him into the faction, it's great. Or like Sun Ren. There's a bunch of like really cool characters around, and then, you know, like I have characters that I don't like, so if I see him, I'm like, oh, you better hope I don't catch you, you know, that kind of thing. And it's just another fun level of it. And so what I love the most is you can recruit, you can capture or execute or release other characters as you're fighting in the wars, right? And then if you capture them enough, sometimes you'll capture them again, and they get so fond of you. It's called faction fondness they develop, and then they'll just join you if you capture them again after you've released them enough. And so you can get like legendary fighters from some other faction, and then after like enough of the fighting, they're like, you know what? I trust you. You know, I'm gonna fight for you instead of my old master. Or, you know, the faction gets eliminated, and these people that liked you seek you out to join up. In the aftermath of that. So it's like a nice level, you know, like you just try to be good to everyone that you meet, and then eventually they might join up with you. But it's a fascinating sort of like multiple levels of gameplay that you can get out of it. We finally stabilized public order here. It's negative 46 here. Yowza. You know. Negative 46. That's a lot of negatives. We're just going to build the school here. Say you love games where you can read the background beyond the game themselves. This is a very fulfilling thing for that. So everybody can die of old age. You know, 60 is when they start ticking down for the winter. So my faction leader now is old enough to die, but you know, we married her off late. We forgot to get him married early, so he doesn't have any kids. But we married Yuan Yu, who is the daughter of Yuan Shao here to the north. So when you take a diplomatic marriage like that, now he remembers it was a long time ago, so it's like not as fresh in his mind. But you know, like we've got that familial tie there. And then later, if we want to like conquer his lands with our grandchildren, it makes sense, you know, and you can find other marriages. You know, you can marry your people internally. You know, you can take somebody else's heir away from their faction if you have like a daughter in your faction, or you're a woman running your faction. You know, you could just be like, all right, I want your son. Your son's gonna marry me, Cao Cao, and then you've got, you know, one of the heirs to the throne of Wei functionally, and then later. Like, that's what I did in my last run. Sun Tzu, I married his mom because the dad died. We married Lady Wu off to Cao Ren, and then later we used Cao Ren to go and take over Cao Cao's lands, and it's just very fulfilling. And while, like, Warhammer, I love Warhammer, but, like, you do miss out on the idea that you're not going to live forever. which this game absolutely nails. It's tense, and you're like, oh man, I don't want my guy to die of old age. He wants 20 grand for a non-aggression pact? No, dude, nah. If you aggression me, I'll just come and punch you in the face about it. Because he'll just break it anyway. You can't trust him. He's too fiery, right? He likes to brawl. Huzzah! Unto us a child is born! Kongyuan. And we'll know... Alright, what kind of son do we have? Oh, it's a bouncing baby commander boy. That's good, you know, a strategist would be better. Actually, all of them would be better than commander. But we've got a son. Hooray! Our line will live on. We need to get a prime minister. That guy tanks public order. I think we just put him up here. This is going to reduce the amount of food that we have, though. But no, this guy, yeah, we can just move him up here, and that'll actually make everybody happier. And, you know, he'd be a good prime minister. He's fought with us for quite some time. So you agree on that aspect of some of the older games, the risk of getting attached to rule and implications of them dying off. And yeah, it's because, you know, I didn't even think of any of that, you know, because I only played Warhammer. I played, like, Rome back in the day at, like, my friend's house, but I didn't have the game. It was, like, his dad's, you know, that kind of thing. It was the 90s. I'm an old person. So I didn't, like, play any of the historical games, and then, like, I just sort of forgot about the franchise, basically, until Total War Warhammer showed up in my Humble Bundle one day, and I had, like, I play Warhammer 40k on the tabletop. I own models. I haven't played a game of 40k in years, but I am a Warhammer model owner, you know, as we call ourselves. I've got a pile of shame, you know, but I didn't realize how much I would like that aspect, you know, because you get these unique troops, and they're like, okay, he's great. He's 47. That's 13 more years of fight we get out of him, right? You know, you get somebody cool in the pool, but they're like 70, and you're like, oh man, that's an old man. He's not going to live to fight forever. You know, you act like a dynasty. You marry a relatively young person, and then, you know, she is going to be able to run stuff long after you're gone and hold things down, you know, for your son, because she's probably going to take over the faction. Now, you can make your baby the heir, but your baby doesn't give your faction any bonuses as the heir. And we do need the faction bonuses. And there's also, like, spies and stuff, which I don't really understand well. We don't have any, but, like, so that's the other wrinkle. So you can go in here. If it says this little eye here, that means they're willing to spy, but otherwise, like, if we just took this person, they could theoretically be sent by Dao Ying to spy on us, and then, like, if you give them, like, they administer, oh yeah, there's all these wrinkles too, so you can have an administrator for the place, so if somebody attacks, he'll have his retinue and he'll defend it if he's not, like, out in the field commanding an army somewhere. And you have, like, these things called assignments, so you can, you know, it's another layer of strategic thinking where you send people out, like, okay, we want to make more money here, we want to recruit better there or something. And the other major thing in the game, so instead of, like, supply lines, you have what's called corruption. So the more land you have, the harder it is to make money off of it. Oh, and the thing I forgot to mention most, so the big difference between, like, Warhammer Army and this is that each general has a retinue of 6 units. And so, like, a green general, that's like a spear guy, basically. And a red guy, that's like cavalry guy, basically. And they can recruit other stuff also, but... Morning, Luke. But, so, instead of, like, losing the units, they follow around with him. And if I want to move this army from over here down here, I just drop the whole army. Next turn, re-recruit it here. It's going to have to replenish, but you keep your same levels and units and everything in the army. and eventually you can make it to where your redeployment's slightly cheaper. But yeah, Shane, it's so much better than just non-aggression pacts and trade deals. So I am a pacifist guy, Kong Rong. We believe in education and diplomacy and friendliness. And so all of this land, like, we just got this land here from some initial rebellions. And all this other land we've bought by trading items and food. Oh yeah, there's food in the game for resources too. And diplomacy and money. So we're making money hand over fist. And then we're spending money to buy the land from our neighbors. Send a lone general south to try to colonize some land. There might be some in here. Yeah. Like Taiwan. Oh, yes, we should do that. Yeah, so we've been, like, not at war with people for a long time. I almost declared on Sun Tzu over here just because he was getting big on his britches, right? He was the only other duchy in the world. Now I'm a duchy also. We finally... Because there's all these different mechanics that it's very satisfying on a campaign level, actually. So, like... Well, in a game like Warhammer, if I was saying I just played 100 turns and didn't fight anybody, that wouldn't feel satisfying. This actually feels really gratifying. It's much more Civ-like. But yeah, there's so all the stuff that's grayed out here, that's not there. But here, you get all of China. Basically, you have the jungles here where there are Nanman tribes. There's an expansion, so they have like tigers and elephants. It's awesome. And then, you've got you've got the steppe tribes in the north here with horse archers. There's so many different factions. There's duels. Your generals are very strong, or it's got two modes. It's called romance mode and records mode. So you can play it with like big damn heroes, where they run in and smash like in the stories, or you play it more like a historical Total War where they have like bodyguard units and stuff, and it's more straight. And you can just click a button at the beginning of the campaign, not in the middle, but only at the beginning, and then you can swap. So you could have a more grounded, realistic thing, or you could have a more I'm a hero and I'm in the company of heroes type of thing. And we want to get this so that we can get another level of the thing, or... No, we want well, we don't need prestige buildings anymore. Now that we're a duke, we don't need to be like a king level. That's not really that important to us. Public order could be good. But I think we want to go here and get the better... Oh yeah, and that'll be satisfaction for strategists too, because once we get to Sima Yi, because I don't know if he's a spy. Like, he's worked for me for a while, right? He's worked for me for 5 years, but I didn't know if he was a spy at the start. But we are so close to getting him to 100 list. We got him at 100 listed satisfaction now, so we'll be okay. And then later we might make him the Prime Minister of Malaysia. No, it's not actually that good. He just gives replenishment and military supplies. I mean, it's fine. This guy's considerable bonuses are better. Seems how he probably is a spy unless he has a grudge. Yeah, I didn't want to put him into anything too good, but I just wanted to pick him up because I was like, if I get him now and he doesn't get mad, we'll be able to get to 100 satisfaction. And I just, yeah, because he didn't leave immediately. He was with Cao Cao for like a year. And since Cao Cao has, like, no land, I was thinking, okay, Sima Yi craves court position. he might have been super unsatisfied and left, because it wasn't immediate when he joined. It was after like a year or so. So I was like, I'll take the gamble on it. I want him in our faction, and we'll take the gamble. And now that we've got him at 100 satisfaction, which was not assured then, we feel better about it. And it's going to pay off. It's probably going to pay off. Everything we've done so far has paid off because no one's attacked us, because everybody loves us. We married into the Yuan family. We've got a wonderful, beautiful son, Kong Yuan. Everybody will know who he came from. He's got the name of his father and his mother. And here we get our culture building there, and our culture building here, and that'll stabilize the public order, but not once it goes to 8 million in the population. But we're making money hand over fist. Trade agreement's good. Trade monopoly maxed out. No idea what trade influence is, but we've got a ton of it. I was playing last night, and I was supposed to try to go to bed, and then I played for like 2 more hours, because clicking in turn is so satisfying. I love Civ. And this is like a better version of Civ, right? Because you get the good battles. Because normally, I'm like, I play Total War for the battles, but here it's like you can play a campaign quite happily and only want this. Only want this. But if we go, do we just run out of supplies? I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know what happens to that army whenever it runs out of supplies. We might just lose it. Maybe that's what happens when you go adventuring.
稍事休息，前进。
You want to roll a yuan once? Doesn't even matter if you do, because the attrition wouldn't happen to her overall. You can call it as on 1 health. Got it. It's just like you're dragging your body up to the beach on your elbows, and you're like, this land for Kong Rong. You put the blue flag down, that's all you need, and everybody just starts flocking to it. They're like, oh, well, I guess if we live here now. And it's funny that I hated the buildings so much at the start, but I didn't appreciate, so the population gives you multipliers for the money that you make. And that made my calculations a lot better, right? Because I was like, man, it's going to take 50 turns to do that. But if you got like a 2.5x multiplier, now you're just looking at, 15 turns. And that's a lot easier of a sale. The Emperor is still in action, There's only 2 duchies right now, me and Wu. And I, of course, can't even declare. Trade influence gives you a bigger slice of the pie. I see. Yeah, I just, without knowing what it meant, I was like, it says I can do a monopoly, so that means we're going to get a monopoly. I'm like, I don't even know what that entails, but, if we're going to win the game, we're going to win the game.
威武不屈。
Hiya!
我等心怀忠贞，才有此胜。
Because Sui Ming here, this is like, we've got a poison arrow, a poison volley assassin, and the thing is that we don't even need them. Oh, we've got another one too. But, I don't think it has it yet. Yeah. Next level, a level 6 the assassin can become a poison volley guy. I think we took this earlier, which is, you know, bad, but... Oh, he see me in a poison volley general. Yeah, I was proud. I was like, yeah, we've got it going on. Cause he's the special sentinel, right? He's like Zhao Yun, where he can use the axes and the spears. We took his unique weapon away because we figured this is the army that would actually be fighting. Yeah, because Duke, for the 10 satisfaction, I don't think we even care about the king level. Well, king would give us more of the spread, right? More. Oh yeah, speaking of, we've got more trade agreements now. Who wants to? Nobody wants to trade with me. You know, we don't have any more possible partners. Are we already trading with Wu? Yes. Man, we make so much money. Oh yeah, and we have trade suspended with those guys because they're not around anymore. But we still get... It still counts for your monopoly money, but... King doesn't give you the fancy court right away, right? It just gives you the, you leveled up your bars thing. And when you declare, that's when you get the thing. But of course, we can't declare. So yeah, we don't need to worry about the prestige anymore. I think we're fine. Like, I guess we can level up to Imperial City here also. I mean, why not, right? Why not? What's stopping me? We got plenty of food. I guess what's stopping me is that it doesn't make commerce money, so it's not practical to do it. Says surprised I didn't go for Spies of the Tech Tree. I kept getting delayed because I needed food, right? I needed to be able to generate food for the places, so this was the first priority. And then I got worried about public order. We took a little bit of money to the start, which was, you know, probably not ideal. So we took, like, you know, we started working this way, and we got an admin position because we needed one. And then I was like, oh man, we need to level up the schools. And then I was like, oh, we need satisfaction for sentinels because we couldn't get Zhonghe to keep in. So we had to build up here to get 8 satisfaction for sentinel because I didn't have any spots. I didn't have court positions or anything, and like we were losing everybody that we had to satisfaction problems, so we had to jump up there. And then the same thing here. I was like, we needed satisfaction for strategists to try to get Sima Yi to not leave. So it's like, basically, we're just tech treeing to try to keep our people in the faction and to be able to keep on growing enough food. Could grant titles. Oh, I always forget about that. Yeah, because you can just give them that for satisfaction. Yeah, I always forget. We've got such quick building time. Oh yeah, wonderfully, we married her because she was Yuan Shao's daughter. She's a clerk, which gives her -2 construction time faction wide, which is pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Speaking of things, we probably have some assignments. Send our brilliant wife here to increase the old commerce money. Oh yeah, we needed to give that guy a job. Oh, that's the guy that we wanted to take the weapon from. I remember. I'm like, I don't particularly want him specifically to be in that job. So yeah, we can build the large regional city in a single turn due to our various faction effects, which is very funny to me. And the Imperial City only takes 3 turns, which is just bonkers. How did I ultimately deal with Huangshao and the peasant army from the event? So we moved up here and took Dong. We cracked the wall, brought a juggernaut in. After cracking the wall big enough, we were able to, by the skin of our teeth, beat the garrison. And Huangshao was over in the mountains here, and he just kind of stayed there. I move over in this direction. No, I'm like right here. And then the peasant army shows up. I was going here to try to deal with Huangshao, and the peasant army shows up, which I didn't know was going to happen. And I run over here. We managed to reinforce the town. They attack the next town, the next turn. You know, they pop up. We run over. We reinforce. So we've got, you know, the 4 units on the inside and our big army all the way out, you know, that's got, you know, a juggernaut and a trebuchet as the principal things so far away. And then this all happened last night, this battle did. And then by the skin of our teeth, we win that battle. We gloriously defended. It went awesome. It was a real nail biter in a couple of moments. Did I get Taishitsi? No, he didn't help. He didn't show up. But yeah, we barely got it because, you know, we deployed as reinforcements far away because we weren't inside the place. We were you know, bringing in from the outside. And then yeah, just a real nail biter. And then from there, you know, we healed up and then we popped him in the mountains because he was just by himself. Yan Shao declared against us, and then we sold Puyong to Dao Qian, I think? When he was still alive. And then, because I was like, I can't defend it, because I was over here totally beat up from that peasant army when he declared against me. I'm like, we'll just sell this, and then we'll try to hold him back across the river, you know, if he comes, and that's how it all worked out. And then he didn't come across, we pieced out with him, and then we had our core, and then from there we just built up. And then we haven't had any wars or battles since then. You know, it's just been smooth sailing. Yan Shao has a vassal alliance that includes essentially everyone except me up here and Gong Sun. But he's got Liu Bei, he's got he's got Cao Cao, he's got Han Fu, he's got everybody. But the Duchy of Wu, they're the most powerful people in the world. And Liu Bei is the second most powerful people in the world. He, of course, does like us. But nobody loves us, you know, they just sort of like us, and I'm afraid that Yuan Shao will care less about that in the future. But, you know, that's why our army is here in the north to protect it. You know, we've got... This place gives us an absolute zound of food. It's like 40 food, but I think it's wiser. You know, we're gonna level up here, right? Yeah, we can get another... The public order is stable enough off of that and the admin, yeah.
目标明确。
Alright, so this place now has... well, the military crackdown, so it won't be entirely stable public order, it'll just be almost stable public order. Do we level up here? I mean, yeah. But maybe, no, it's all industry-based. I mean, commerce gets the biggest boost from this, right? Because it's 150% from commerce, and the level underneath that is 50% from commerce. No, 75, but... It's still a very, very large commerce boost. But the other boost going there is... City size gave public order to counter our population some. Yeah, you know, I think it's just that you're supposed to build the public order buildings if you don't want to stabilize it some other way. Because between the Temple of Confucius and then the garrison building... That's massive, you know. Yeah, you say it makes sense for the province to have rebellions because it's particularly bad. Yeah, you know, you start out in this just yellow turban city. But of course, when you have all of these farmlands and this era of China, well... A lot of overlords and only a couple that that tried to do their job right, you know. So military access, we don't want this because we want to be able to use this to buy something off of him. Although he is down to just these lands here next to us, which I don't think he would want to sell us those. It doesn't mean he wouldn't do it. But without the primary place, I don't think we want to spend our juice on that. Because we just have so much money, which has got to render us, you know, an attractive target for someone. But I don't think they take your whole treasury if they win, you know. But obviously, if they were to like sack a couple of our big cities, that would hurt. But with the sweet spin move, we take him out. Now you can't use an army this valuable for just playing whack-a-mole. It's not practical. It's not practical. Zhu Shu, fighting for Liu Bei, really? Seems like he beat me to the colonization scramble. Maybe we can go to the Taiwan. Yep. We'll see. You know, and anyway, it doesn't cost much to go.
行动如一，
立马行动。
She's enigmatic, cheerful, and intrepid. Oh, that cheerful trait, that's what gives her the satisfaction faction-wide. I was like, she had a bunch of really interesting stuff that I wasn't expecting to get out of the thing based on the what was listed on the tree. Hey, there we go. We get the old flying daggers. I don't think we sacrificed the movement range for him. Alright, we need this person to get the industry item, unless... Oh no, the public order. The public order is stable without it. So we'll give him the industry. We're making money hand over fist. The last of our tribute payments is probably going to expire pretty soon. I mean, we can just buy this. I was like, why don't we just try to see if Sunsil will sell this to us, right? Negative 42. We could make that work. But are we ready to absorb it now? I don't really want to go any further in that direction. To complete the Destroy King, and we're missing Longya and Pinguan. Yeah. But he's my friend. I don't even, like, can he trade this from across the way? Yeah. Negative 46, so yeah, we could totally get this off of Yuan Shao. By giving him a ton of money, what could go wrong with this, right? Because the place Liu Bei is in, that's his capital. We can't get that off of him. Maybe we can't get there. Yeah, we can't. Yeah, not quite. We can get the salt place though, and then trade a minor for a major, then buy the minor back. Ah. So we buy this one, and then we trade it there.
老友来访，甚是欣慰。
Oh, we've already got it. We need to wait for that to... Alright, the food deal. That's what's holding it back. The old food deal. In the grim darkness of the far past of China, there is only peaceful coexistence.
祝君好运。算了，继续吧。
Random ancillary. Basically all we need. Oh, we need an administrator here. This dude's too old. And that'll at least reduce the corruption down to very solid levels, which will let us get more money. Just so much more money. Oh, this guy wants a better job. Well, we don't really have one for you, buddy. I really just got you so I could take your weapon so that I could later trade it to somebody else. Speaking of, let's get this guy. Because, you know, 1,000 is not too much to pay for some items. Because Wu is an enemy of the Han, which I might have had something to do with. But I was like, I want to fight him, and then I was like, you know, that sort of goes against what we stand for, though. Did Liu Yang get wiped? I guess. I don't know what's going on over there. Liu Ji was in the recruitment pool not too long ago, but he was so old I just didn't pick him up because he was already like 72. But yeah, you know, I have no idea what's going on over here. Maybe Ma Teng beat him up. Maybe the Nan are ascendant. Liu Bei confederated Liu Bao while Liu Bao was still alive, which... fascinating, right? I always see it happen after Liu Bao dies. But he must be old as dirt now, 72, yeah, what a gentleman. All right. Too much money. What do we do with it? So we're gonna pay 50 grand for this salt mine. And then once that finishes up, then we can try to make a swap with this land for this. Yeah, that's what my thinking was too. I was like, you know, it's so much money, but well, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do?
正在行进。
应酬壮志。
You can't have the multiple payments, just the menu gets weird. Got it, got it. Except for food. Okay. So we can take this to get a spy. I guess that's what we do. Yeah, because we can take this and then we can get another spy later. Get 3 spies from this thing on the tree. All right, spies. Aren't you related to him? We're gonna send this person to spy in Wu. You know, that's we'll see what we can do with it. Alright, so he might get recruited, he might not.
不必害怕我们。如你所愿。
And then, like, you don't want to give away a pact for free to a person like that who's not going to attack you, because you could use it for trade benefit later if you want to buy some of their land. Queen Zhurong is doing some wars. Good for her. My girl, my girl. Always having a party. And, you know, this scouting will help, too, because we'll see more of what's going on. And maybe Liu Bao was the one who got these, and then he can fed it in. But maybe Liu Bei was the one who went and did it. No one will ever know. Like, if we just take, like, one public order thing, that'll be enough. Him being willing to confederate such a strange one. Yeah, because, like, the story, you know, is, like... I remember it gave me the quest to do it, and, like, he was always so unwilling. But maybe because we paid Liu Bei a bunch of money, and we were, like, a buffer against him being attacked here. Because he's got, like, quite a strong army. Like, he's the second strongest person in the world. But probably a bunch of that is in his lands over here. But I figure, you know, us buying his land and giving him big chunks of money, although it was only a couple of places we bought, you know, that could have been the difference, right? Why Zhao Zhao is poor, I don't know. Or rather, land poor, I guess. You know, he must have been losing some fights to people. Because I kept thinking, you know, because of my predilections towards Gangsu Zan's at war with Liu Bei. Oh! So he is. Well, that means we'll be able to buy this in the event that he, Yeah. Because that won't be the capital for Gangsu Zan. That would be excellent. You know, this campaign is just going so good. Oh, we could get a trade agreement now. Alright, so we'll get a trade agreement. Oh, wow. Negative 120. Oh, because it makes food and he's already super food poor. Well, you know, we could just hang out up here and take it away from a rebellion if that's the state that he's going to be in. Han Fu, how is he moving out here? Well, I guess he took Onping. No idea how. Good for him. There is such interesting stuff going on, like, cause it's 2:15. You give too much food to a faction, and then, when you take it away, they've got their cities built up. Yeah. That's how you get them. Fan Henri, if you discover an island down here and found a city, I will let you run it. That's the promise I make to you. Will become the vassal of Yuan Shao? I don't think so, buddy. Although being part of a huge block up here in the north would be fine. Look, we can just, if we need to become a vassal to get out of a war with, like, Sun Tzu, for example, we can just do it then. Dong Li declares war on Liu Bei, and then Yuan Shao and everybody else declares war on that thing. Joyous day, for unto us a daughter is born. Kongji. Now we have a bouncing baby boy and a baby girl. Our union is truly blessed. You know, the strategist girl, maybe she's going to be the one who runs things afterward. Do we need to have him here on this side of the water? I mean, do we need to have him at home? Because really we could just get another single stack here to deal with this, but like, you know, that runs into the thing is like, why are we paying an army? Well, we're paying an army because we have to have an army, so if somebody shows up, we can say, hey, you don't want to mess with me, I've got an army. So we can't get rid of it, you know, we gotta stay here. But I mean, abstractly though, having a foothold on the other side of the Yellow River is good. It would be better if it were a city. But I mean, to that end, wow, 81, what? Oh, the food, yeah, he's starving, so he won't trade anywhere that gives him food, because that would put him into a worse situation. Well, we're just gonna bide our time here, I guess. Han Fu is at war with everybody. Oh no, he's just at war with Yuan Shu's faction. I'm like, we are not a warlike man. You know, we you gotta remember who you are, even though it would be fun to swoop in on them. We're going to decrease their favor again. Just, you know, it's about sending a message. We want them to keep being an enemy of the Han, because no one's even messing with them about it. But, you know, we just... Maybe if the Emperor at least hurts them, that'll be something. I guess we just take the trade deal. Make him pay us for it. Give us another huge chunk of money. You know, we get 18k from taxation, but 7.5 from trade. A lot of our money, though, goes to tribute to pay for this silly little salt mine. Look, it'll pay... At 45 grand, it'll only take 90 turns to pay for itself. Worth it. The army helps in diplomacy. Gong Suzun, how dare you? How dare you? Liu Bei has ever been my friend and neighbor. Now, if you should take more of his land and want to sell it, I will gladly buy. Haha! Our spy has infiltrated the faction. are building our cover right now, so we're going to keep on building it. We don't want to blow it. You don't like his chances there? Yeah, you know, it's a bunch of militia. And he's got one White Horse fellow. And a raider. And then, you know, a bunch of militia plus a large garrison. Yeah, I don't like his chances either. Sure, and I don't. So we could go to the negative corruption thing, but right now, due to the size of our empire, the corruption, if they have an administrator, is essentially 0. Alright, Gongsun is at war with the entire faction of the north here, so this is going to give us a good opportunity to maybe buy some of this this land off of him if he takes it. After all, if he takes Binyuan, which has just been downgraded by Yuan Shao. Hey, there we go! Woo! That's an uninhabited island there, baby. On the other hand, he might leave his capital there once 3K triggers. Yes, that's a good point. And then, right next door. And a big old block of trouble there. Huzzah! We did it! Thanks for the advice, Luke. I never would have remembered I could have done this. I was like, man, I don't have anywhere to go. And I prefer to have this as opposed to any mainland land anyway, right? We can just have a party here, and then if they want to try to come across the water to fight us, that's a lot easier to deal with than being on the land here in the middle of the heart of Wu, which, of course, they're the strongest people in the world, right? He's even got non-generals fighting for them. This is Jing. He's 72 years old, and in the twilight of his years, he said, why not fight for the Han? Por qué no? And if he doesn't, then the capital moves, and then we can buy it. Right. Oh, yeah, I love it. Yuan Shao's coalition is probably going to fragment. It just depends, though. You know, if Wu doesn't declare on them, they'll probably be fine. But, you know, we just need to be whoever Wu doesn't declare on whenever they get frisky. But they hate everyone. Nope, they don't hate me. Shockingly. They used to. I guess our influence increased. But we know him. Look, Sun Tzu is a guy who will attack you if he thinks you can't defend it. It doesn't matter how much he likes you. If he thinks you're weak, he's going to punish you for that. That's who he is. That's who he'll always be. This really helped me to get over the enemy with the Humvee debuff. It was a small debuff, you know. And I don't know if he knows that I'm the one who's slandering him to the Emperor, but at least 100 of those negative points have been me against him. I was doing it to Zhao Zhao for a bit, and then Wu was the only duchy he was the only duchy on the map. He got it before I did. Gongsun Zan is fallen. Shiji has also fallen to winter. And I mean, Kong Rong's getting old too. Of course, at least we've got an heir to the throne, and with our wonderful wife, and you know, a couple of wonderful children as well. All right, so boost the army. Barbarian raids. I'm like, we're not going to do that. We're only going to raid people if they don't like us. I'm like, whenever we sent those pirates to mess with Wu, do you think he knew that was me? We'll just do this to get maxed. Alright, alright. We could try to buy Guangling. That would just give us more frontage here against Wu, though. Even if he does know it doesn't affect a blow. Okay, so the moves you do against them with the council doesn't register to them as, like, they have done this. So, like, Cao Cao's always like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean a scheme? I can't believe somebody would have done that to you. I mean, somebody should look into that. Man, that's crazy. I can't believe anybody would ever treat you that way. He says unironically. I'm like, this guy's got a bunch of stuff. We're gonna take it. Look, the thing is that because ancillaries are so useful in the trade deals, like, you know, if you just see some dude who's got a couple of them, you just gotta grab them, because that is how you're gonna be able to... This is a level 6 guy. I mean, maybe we just keep him. This is a sentinel, but he's not the right kind of sentinel, so, you know, we don't need to keep Cheng Jiao. It's like, I can't believe that this scheme has befallen you. Is there anything I could do to help you in the aftermath? Do you need some money? I could buy some of your disused land. I know you just got a lot of it. You know, maybe that could help. All right, and we need to appoint her the administrator of the island, because that is what we promised her. Not because it's smart, but because that is what we promised her. And keeping your promises is important. Do we want to buy this off of them? Let's just try to buy... Let's just try to buy it. Because if we want to get this area later, you know, let's start chipping it up, and then he won't be like, oh, this is my complete province, you know. Like, maybe we do move back on this side of the water. Tawana's no road, so it's still going on then. Cool, cool. Well, you know, once we get it, we'll have it. Another spy thing? More assignments? Public order. Yeah, that's where we'll go. Look, stabilizing the public order so that I don't have to be around is more important than all the other things, even though it's not happening anytime soon, right? Because we could just drop a building here and build a public order building, but what do we drop, right? The prestige building? I mean, probably. I don't know. Tricky. Liu Bei is totally isolated here from the rest of his lands. And how interesting it'll be, right? If he ends up over in Shu somehow. Like, how interesting it'll be. It doesn't really cost me anything. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's just, like, this army can't cover all of it at one time. We could do another army slot just to keep it here, and then... Because, like, that's the thing with Kongrong. It's like, we don't need him here to defend this place, right? We don't... Oh, look! The starvation has caused him to dramatically drop the level of this place. Now, will you be willing to do it? Oh, yeah. So he had to drop the level. That makes it less attractive to him to hold on to it. And at negative 45... we can trade Lei Ling across for it. Oh, yeah. And now we will stay on this side of the water with Kongrong. Because this will be a good place to be hanging out, right? You know, this is so much more fun than playing the game. No, I mean, this is playing the game, too. I actually love this. Like, this is all the things that are missing, you know, from the top-level map in Warhammer. Alright, so we pay 45 grand for it, and boom, baby. That's the good stuff. And of course, we're in his land now. We're allowed to be. We've got freedom of movement. And then later, we'll buy that right back. This is so fun. Okay, so this is the Directorate of Yon. We don't want to drop this because this gives public order, prestige, and income. Wow! It's got it all, baby! So this is their unique building, huh? So we get public order, which is great. It's half of what you would get from like a Confucius building. The prestige from a normal one of these, and additional income. What's not to love? And I was like, and he's got 2 marketplaces? That's pretty good. And we'll build another slot here. Because we can afford the food. And when you play as him, it makes its own unique resources. Nice. Gets it all the way done. We're just going to rush this because 4 grand isn't worth waiting. And we're going to be able to build... We're going to have 3 marketplaces plus the school. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. And I want Pin 1 back, so we're going to immediately... Like, right after doing it, we're going to pay him just so much money. Perfection.
那就如此吧。
And now he's got a ton of money to deal with these wars, but look at his land, right? How is he going to support his stuff after this is done? And we're still revenue positive, because of course we are, because we're loaded. We need an administrator for this place, but we don't have a slot. Well, we'll hopefully be able to get one soonish. Like, we need one for all of these places. Like, do we take away the Taiwan administrative position? We'll make her the administrator. We'll make her the administrator of the higher place, and Taiwan won't have one. You know, that'll be okay. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. She doesn't want to run this island. We'll be like, hey, we found an even better place for you. And honestly, that wouldn't be an insult. Telling her she can have the island, and then whenever she gets a letter from home, we said, actually, we've acquired Pingyuan, and you are going to run it. She would be fine. She'd be fine. She wouldn't be mad about that. So we don't need to lower the corruption because we're going to lower the corruption enough whenever we put her in charge.
期待你的答复。这可怪不得别人。
我的意志得以重铸。
So you don't usually build that building style at all unless you're playing as him or Russian Prestige, yeah. You know, that's why I built the ones that I had. I broke most of them. I thought I broke them. We should break this one too. Because, like, I did it to rush up to Duke, but then I'm like, you know, what would be better? Here at Dong, we could, what, build a workshop? We've already got that one. It's like I thought I had broken them. I guess I kept them. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and crack them now. We can build something better everywhere than that now that we've got our prestige. We don't need the one here either. We'll upgrade that and this. And we're going to build a garrison building down here. You know, it's about sending a message, right? No, we're going to build a forge. Right? How far off is King? Oh, you know, 130. I guess if we don't break these prestige buildings, then... Yeah, you know, let's be smarter, right? Because that would put it very out of reach, but... We get this, we'll get Taiwan set up, you know, a few levels here. And then, you know, we can get another 20 or 40 out of there. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, you're right. We should move towards king. And Zhong He levels up, allowing him to go to get night battles and stuff. Yeah, because if we put him and Sima Yi together later, which we'll probably do, Sima Yi is not going to get fire arrows in night battle at all. Because you recruit him at level 7, and this is what his board looks like. So 8, 9, and then 10, you can get, I guess you get Whitewater and that at level 10, if you ever get to level 10. They start him all the way over here, or they start him here, and then they get all of these, which you don't care about. Funny stuff. Buy Hane for the prestige. Yeah, yeah. He's got plenty of food. He'll probably trade it off. Why will it not let me make a payment? Alright, there we go. Helps that he's poor, indeed. You know, he's poor in large part because I keep on giving him money for stuff a couple of times, and then afterward he uses that money and expects he's going to have it, and then he doesn't. $30,000 for some farmland. We could level up Baha'i for the prestige. I mean, public order won't go too far down from that. It might. Whatever. It'll be 3 imperial cities over here. This one can afford it too. We'll afford all of that food, right? Yeah. Yeah, the last time we tried for it, it was like -100. It's only -50 now. We could totally get it done if we worked at it. We could like buy the farmland, swap it. We are swallowing them up with our wealth, but of course that's the thing, right? This is absolutely a thing you would have been able to do if you were this much richer than your surrounding people. You know, they would be in these wars all the time. You're like, well, you know, do you really need that salt mine? I'll give you 50 grand. And they'd be like, 50 grand? Or whatever the, you know, sesterces. I know it's not sesterces. I mean, it would be, just not here. You gotta go a little left before you're counting in sesterces in this time period. Why are they freezing their thoughts? That's weird. And we crash. Well, okay. I just like verified the game files. I just did all the things. I think actually, I mean, that's an alright spot to stop for right now. I need to get something to eat. And, you know, when the game crashes, sometimes that's a sign that it's time to stop for a bit. This is the historical Kingdom of Chi route, as far as I know. Awesome, awesome. Well, you know, I'm very pleased with the campaign. I'm glad that we're playing right, and that by a few times that I was tempted to be aggressive with a neighbor, I thought better of it, you know, because it's good to be the peaceful king, after all, isn't it? I think so. Or the Duke, as we are now. But anyway, I'm going to take a little break. I'll probably be back on streaming something else later, but it might be this. I'm pretty engaged with this playthrough, but, you know, we might bounce around with the day. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you, Luke. Glad you got to catch some of it. And later, Shane. Later, Selena. Hope you guys end up picking up the game like we talked about. I think you'll love it just as much as I do. But anyway, see you guys.